understanding of dark pools is that there are these outside exchanges where shares can be traded outside of a regular stock exchange, and not counted or not factored in as part of like the daily shares that are exchanged or something. I know it exists. I don't know who can partake and obviously the effect of that is scary, right? Scary as hell, because what's real and what's not is the matrix or the simulation that we're trading in right now, like on the regular stock exchange. Is that just here for us to see? But anything that can go on outside of that is done outside of it. What's the accountability for it? It's an interesting thing.
I love that matrix reference, which is the idea that these dark pools exist. They're supposed to serve a purpose, but so do naked shorts, if you think about it. Naked shorts are supposed to serve this asynchronous, like, the market needs to run, even if this rich guy doesn't have the share to be able to sell and he wants to borrow from another rich guy. It's fine. Everyone's on credit, right? It's just how a good, dangerously balanced economy works when it's trying to compete with China and the other markets. Ooh.
Right.
When it comes back down to it, though, being able to understand dark pools from the ground up makes a lot of people very nervous. You said you know enough to be dangerous. What is the dangerous part of what dark pools can do and what you've been researching?
It's a threat to the entire system. Just at that high level summary, that high level, if what is true, what I just said is true, if you have exchange A, which I've just been playing with these Legos. You have exchange A right here. This is where all the people trade. And then dark pools is this external option that's exclusive to a number of outsiders. Like, we only have access to this part of the market, but you can you can exchange shares millions of times over in this part of the market that's outside without even affecting this market and the price in this market. That's sketchy. It's really sketchy, because now you have no accountability over the market that we're competing in.
And that
shouldn't be allowed at all.
And that
shouldn't be allowed.
I believe there were either rumors or actual reports that the SEC might be cracking down on dark pools and how they are used, or if the very use of them should be considered allowed. What is the likelihood that the SEC actually cracks down on this, you think?
Likelihood of the SEC doing anything is small. I think Gary Gensler coming in, I hope that he's just going to be more than well, I tried, but I wasn't able to do anything about it, because he has the power to do it. The SEC has everything that they need in order to do it. The problem is the money. Like, there was somebody that just went from Citadel to the SEC just like last week. Some head honcho that just went from SEC over Citadel, and Wes talked about it too. It's a revolving door. I mean, the people that are coming in, cockroaches are going back and forth both ways all the time. There's some lady that just went from, I believe, the same route, went from the SEC or went from Goldman to Citadel recently too. So it's so hard to try and keep these people in check, because all it takes is for that report to be done and compiled, months worth of evidence to hit someone's desk at the SEC, and that person then says, okay, I'll get to it, but I've got more important matters going on. And because it's the system of the government that bogs down this investigative process. So again, I'm at the point of saying, screw the SEC, screw FINRA, let's do it together as a retail body. Let's put our data together. You know what your position is. I know what my position is. Collectively, if we can aggregate a large portion of the retail investors' positions, we can know exactly, we should have the evidence that should be irrefutable. So we don't have to depend on other people to prepare a report. We can prepare our own reports and then compare that to numbers that are being published. And that should be irrefutable evidence. And if the SEC ignores that, then get your pitchforks, because that's fraud at the highest level. Like, you shouldn't be able to dispute that.
I like that. I feel like at the end of the day, right, people like Alexis Goldstein, when she was testifying during the congressional hearings for GameStop, she was kind of like advocating for change, but mainly she was advocating for data transparency, right? Why can't we just log all of this ourselves? Why it doesn't have to be like blockchain. It just has to be me looking at you and saying, yeah, your numbers that you're self-reporting are most likely accurate. If they're not even close to what you're reporting, then come on. Isn't the IRS, isn't someone supposed to be good at math here? This is the US government, or American aside, right? This is the world government here, talking about economics that seems to be data that you can just say whatever you want.
So that's the other point too. You brought up, this being the world government thing, because this is inclusive of countries outside of the United States, where the UK is cracking down on this right now. It's what Dr. T has been talking about. The UK is cracking down on naked short selling. So what they're doing is they're imposing laws where if you have a fail to deliver, you actually have to do something about it, right? You have to either break up the trade and reverse the trade, or you have to go in and buy in and cover your position, which is not something that's done here in the United States. So immediately you have like rules and regulations in the United States that are being done and conducted in a completely different way than the regulations in the United Kingdom, in Australia, wherever you are. So the point is, if you're in a different country and someone else is in a different country, and we can sit here on a WebEx or Zoom meeting and we can talk about, like, I'm an investor in this company, regardless of my borders, we are borderless for that one cause. So why don't we have a system that allows people to see what the world is doing with that data, with their investment, and have that data or have that information verified before someone can even access the system. So like, you have to be a proven shareholder of something before you can even access or have your data fed into this system. So you can verify that information across everybody in the world and be able to see that information aggregated, but you're also at a level that exists beyond just the regular U.S. government and regulations. Like, you are not in, because you have so many people that are a part of another country that are also invested for the same interest. Those people, their data is just as important as our data. And so if we can provide that high level summary, and the regulation can even go above just what the United States is saying, it literally allows retail to establish their own government, establish their own sense of record keeping, their own sense of accountability. And it's a lot harder to disprove thousands and thousands of people than it is to disprove one broker in a summarized report. Does it make sense? So the SEC in that sense would only be able to analyze what the United States portion of the misinformation is. The UK would only be able to analyze what the UK's portion is. In this system, we can analyze the world. We can analyze everybody's information that's willing to participate. We can analyze everybody's information and come to much better conclusions and much more objective conclusions.
I can't wait to see Austin Tobitt in Congress, because we've been saying this for a while, but not only on one side of Congress testifying, but on the actual side of Congress listening to testimony, because that's coming up soon.